I got my first feel of Rio, and it's an amazing country. It's got this energy, and we always said viva esa energy, that whole that vibe. I remember being 17 years old and thinking my life was over. I had no idea. I could never imagine that my life was just beginning. My name is Alana Nichols. I'm a 3-time gold medalist Paralympic athlete. I was the first female American to win gold in the Summer and Winter Games in wheelchair basketball and alpine skiing. And now I'm working on my 3rd sport, and I hope to go to the Rio de Janeiro Paralympic Games this summer in sprint kayaking. So I started playing sports when I was 5 years old. I was introduced to t-ball when I was young, and then I played basketball, volleyball, and softball throughout my childhood. I was very much an athlete, really identified as an athlete. I was 17 years old. In the year of 2000, I tried my first backflip on a snowboard, and I over-rotated the backflip. I ended up doing 1.5 flips, and then I landed on a rock that was underneath the snow. I broke my back in 3 places and became paralyzed. I thought that I would never be an athlete again. I thought my life was over at that time, and being 17, I was devastated. I was broken. I thought about adaptive sports, but I didn't want to try them because I didn't think they would be legitimate. I wanted it to be sports like I had always played. And then I saw wheelchair basketball. It's violent, it's aggressive, it's talented, it's sweaty, it's all of the things that I always knew as an athlete. And my life changed when I learned about adaptive sports. As a Cinderella story would have it, I was able to come back. I played wheelchair basketball for 5 years. I went to the Beijing Games, and we left with gold medals around our necks about 8 years after my injury. After the Beijing Games, I started alpine skiing again, and I wanted to try to get to the 2010 Games 2 years later, but I had never really skied before. And so for 2 years, I dedicated my life to alpine skiing. I trained every day. I skied 7 days a week. And I was able to get to the 2010 Games and become the first female American to win gold in the summer and winter.
Amazing.
So after the Paralympic Games in 2010, I played again at the London 2012 Games for basketball. I went on to play to alpine ski in 2014 as well in Russia. And after all of that, I decided I wanted to try kayaking and surfing. So I learned how to surf in Hawaii after the Sochi, Russia Paralympic Games. And when I was out on the water, I was off of Queen's Break in Waikiki, most picturesque Hawaiian, water. And I sat there and I thought, there's no way I can get into a basketball gym again. There's no way I'm going back to the mountain to risk my life and fall on my face and everything. But I will go surfing, and I want to surf for the rest of my life. And now I'm hoping to pioneer this adaptive surf movement for people with disabilities. One of my most heartfelt motivations is other young women with disabilities. I remember being 17 years old and thinking my life was over. I had no idea. I could never imagine that my life was just beginning, and that I would travel the world, that I could play sports, that I would meet the presidents, that I could get my education and get a job. And that's why I do what I do now. One of the biggest adversities with women with disabilities in sport is there's not a lot of us. I think the spinal cord injury ratio for men to women is like 5-to-1. So first of all, there's not a lot of women with disabilities that want to be active and that are athletic. So it's finding those people, showing them what's possible, getting them involved in sport, and then really kind of excelling, lifting them up to a Paralympic level. It's a long process. So the women that are arriving in Rio this summer, they've gone through a lot to get there, and it's not been easy. It's a struggle. If I were to meet a young woman with a disability, maybe that she just acquired, I would first say, listen, I'm so sorry. This is hard. It's terrible. And being paralyzed is one of the hardest things that life ever has to give you. But once you're ready, you have a lot of opportunity. There are so many things to do, and I'm ready to do them with you. Let's go surfing, let's go kayaking, let's go skiing, and we'll climb mountains. And you know, whatever your heart desires, you can truly have it if you put your mind to it.